So thank you again for being here to listen to what we have to say. I'm going to talk a little bit about public-private, but I'm not sure that it's really what you expect. Let me tell you, I'm going to take advantage that I'm here, you are hostage to me, to tell you a little bit of the experience that we had in Spain on the generation of what I think is a very good, a very successful public-private connection. See, we started at that time it was called Junta de Energía Nuclear. The people were there and they insisted that, okay, we need to be involved in fusion. And we don't want to do it just in any way, but we want to build something. Really this is an institution, now it's called CIEMAT, it was used to build even nuclear reactors. So there was a good educational and culture of building big experiments. So it decided to go and to against, I have to say, from what, you know, I'm all from what I heard, that it was against really the political statements, the political people, because they wanted to send people to JET. And say, no, what you have to do is we send the people to JET. And people in CIEMAT insist, no, we want to build something. And we built a stellarator that still is working. And it's working quite well, I think. Very well. Magnificent. Very, very good. Now, this was a big challenge. I'm talking to you, we are talking about the 80s, 86, 87. We had there was a very good structure in Europe at that time, in order to what we call phase 1, phase 2, to get 45% of the funds for the construction. This was, at that time, a device of 30 million, more or less. And in our institution, really, they look at what could be the possibilities of local industry, I mean, the industry in Spain. And we were successful at that time, that 60% of the device was a high technology device. This stellarator was built with Spanish companies. That was not easy, and we had to be very much involved, our engineers, with the private companies in some cases, in order to build all the knowledge and all the needs that we had for the construction. Mainly, I'm thinking right now in the power supply in particular. But this effort was successful. Some of the companies that were building with us, working with us, started to get contracts in Germany with the Max Planck, in CERN, related to the similar technologies. So that was this starting point of this public-private between the CIEMAT as a public institution and the private companies, went into a further stage when we decided that, okay, why don't we go and try to get ITER into Spain? Now, we were a relatively small group in fusion, relatively small. We were 100 people, more or less, and these 100 people were dedicated either to the construction. At that time, we already had the stellarator working, so mainly for the exploitation of the stellarator. So we had to take into account the private industries. And at that time, there were several that were involved in the design already of ITER. And Maite actually was part of this effort in the Empresarios Agrupados with CENER. So we created a really strong public-private partnership. And to the surprise of the whole Europe, we made a technical offer that was, I think it's fair to say, the best. We finally didn't get it, this ITER in Spain, thank God, because, you know, with the overcost, I think my head would be a little bit not in the same place. But the good thing is that from this effort, finally, Fusion for Energy came to Barcelona. And now, and then the technology platform was created between CMAT, Sedeti, between the, many industries. Eric is, well, the previous, Eric is part of this technology. And again, the final outcome is right now that, for the surprise of many people also, that the number of the contracts that the industry in Spain is getting out of ITER is, we are in the third position. Only after France and Italy, Spain is getting it. It's more than 2 billion that have come back to the Spanish industries. I think this is a very good example how from the public, the support of the public money getting with the private, I think, came to this successful end. Then, as another example, maybe, is really what happened in ITER. And you know, ITER is also very nice because it's a good example of how much is needed the public-private partnership now for fusion, and I'm very glad for that. I mean, that initially was pure, this public-private agreement is, okay, all the countries have the 20 billion that is needed, and we give it to the industry so they make the construction. But okay, so this is essentially, and everybody shares all the knowledge, which is a very good agreement. But when we talk about the breathing blanket project, this is too close already to a power plant. So Europeans, they want to have the IP related to that. Koreans the same, China and so on. So that part is not really shared because we are already close to the, it's closer to have the final product. So this is the fact that now is discussing in Europe to have a public-private partnership precisely for building something or issues related to fusion. I think it's a very good indication that we are getting closer and closer to these years that we need. Of course, one very good thing is that we can share the risk between the governments, between the money that is coming from the government, and that could encourage the risky or this long-term innovation that will come coming from the industries. We can accelerate the innovation by this connection that we'll have between the industry and the public structure. And certainly it will be more agile and more efficient. One of the things that we learned is that precisely this connection between private and public gave us a lot of flexibility and acceleration of the issues that we wanted to have. Of course, there is problems with that, and one of the things that I think we need is to have a clear mission for these PPs in Europe, at least in Europe. We have to identify what is the clear mission, and we have to agree between the public, let's say the fusion community, Euratom, and so on, and what is the interest of the mission that from industry. Certainly, the goals are different, and public, of course, is much more concerned about the public good, the safety, and the long-term impact, but certainly we have to realize that we need also to have people who want to have profit, want to have speed, and want to have a competitive advantage, because we are not talking about Europe only. We are talking about competitive advantage worldwide. If we are able to develop this technology to a successful end, we need to have this competitive advantage here in Europe. We cannot miss what happened with the solar panels. We cannot happen again what happened with batteries, and with this that we are missing this train that is going. So there are many risks, but I think that to have this idea and with this kind of examples that I mentioned from Spain and with the possibilities to identify a clear mission of this PPP. This is something that we will all benefit here in Europe for the development of fusion. Okay.